Thought leader is kind of one of those things you probably don't want to call yourself, but you know, it's nice if other people call you that.
That's amazing. So then if we were to carry on that conversation, which I want to carry on right now, is you said a keyword when you were describing, and you mentioned thought leader. Obviously, I know that's a word now that's being more prevalent these days, and or maybe maybe it's just me who's more in this space working with thought leaders. We're more or less doing in that same space. Who is a thought leader and who is not?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. I mean, it's like thought leader is kind of one of those things you probably don't want to call yourself, but you know, it's nice if other people call you that.
Yeah.
When I'm saying it here, you know, and that's why, I started that whole phrase of what do I do, saying specifically coaches, consultants, speakers, authors, because it can be very nebulous what a thought leader means. But I do like telling people I want to elevate their thought leader brand and help them establish and grow a thought leader business, and that definitely speaks to them. So I think people who resonate with that are people who want to be known for what for their ideas, for what they know, for their message. They feel driven. I mean, sure, they want to make more money. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but I primarily love working with and attract a lot of people who just feel driven to share some part of their story or some expertise they've developed over years or decades. They're really good at what they do. They've had, some success. They've got a good network that recognizes them as an expert and a leader, but they're looking at the internet and going, I know I can amplify this further. I'm just not sure how to do it. And especially in a way that feels authentic to them, because there's a lot of digital marketing that can feel really yucky to the academic who's like, oh, how can I reach more people? Oh, but I don't want to be one of those guys, right? So that's where I come in and help them find, so that's how I kind of think of.
Yeah. No, and the reason why you're probably interested in where I'm going with this, and the reason why I asked this, Jason, is I'm wondering if the people that you work with, they want to put themselves out there, or you're more tapping into people like, hey, you have a genius that you're taking for granted. Which one is it? Is it one or the other?
Yeah, I really like this question. I would say that it's a Venn diagram of the two, really. I mean, in order to work with me, they already have some identity as an expert. It's probably just within a certain, I don't want to say narrow, but just a certain limited realm, right? It's like they're the academic, and people in academia, probably, at least in their field, know who they are, or maybe they've written a book. But, so at some level they've had to go like, oh, I've got something I want to share, and they're doing something there to get it out, but it's very dependent on their time, and they haven't really necessarily put a business model around it. That said, there's always, as we level up to the next level of anything that we're doing, our mindset likes to play tricks on us, right? So no matter what, who I'm working with, how far along they are, what their immediate goals are, I almost always end up doing some work around what I call unique genius.
Nice.
And what I mean by that is just like tapping into their message, owning their message even more, owning what are their strengths that they bring at a level that most people can't bring. So they feel, that much more confident about communicating it and selling it. Some of them are uncomfortable selling it. So there is a new level of owning that usually comes along with the work that I do.